Hi friends, welcome back to Teaching in Room 9, our region's largest classroom. My name is Julia and I'm one of the second grade teachers at the Soulard School, but here for Teaching in Room 9, all of my lessons focus on math for second graders, but everyone's always encouraged to join. Welcome back friends, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here together with me. I'm so excited and glad I can be here together with you, and let's go ahead and jump right into doing some learning here together. I want to talk to you, friends, about something called Take 5 breathing. So as you're taking those deep breaths, when your emotions or your feelings are starting to run really high, we talked about those zones of regulation, that yellow and that red zones. Breathing deeply really helps to reduce or get rid of anxiety, and practicing deep breathing, just like we always do here together, when we're calm, helps us to be able to get really good at using this strategy in order to help calm our bodies down. So we're gonna do Take 5 breathing. So as you guys are taking those deep breaths, go ahead and hold out one of your hands in front of you, just like this, and spreading out your fingers just like this. And I'm gonna take the pointer finger from my other hand, and I'm gonna pretend like it is a pencil. So as you're taking those deep breaths in and out, trace the outline of your hand. Nice job, friends. You can continue doing that if that feels nice and safe and comfortable for you. That is a really good strategy to practice those deep breathing exercises, and it helps you to really focus your attention on your hand. Plus, I think that feeling of your finger kind of gliding in and out of your other fingers is just a very calming feeling. So it can help you to stay centered and present in the moment. Something else that you can do that helps you practice these mindfulness activities is called the mindful close. So reflection or thinking back on your day is a really important but an easy way for us in order to practice mindfulness and just taking that extra moment to slow down and really take in what happened in your day. So maybe if you're at school, this could be something you could do in the classroom or at home, like as you're trying to fall asleep at night, just taking that moment, like 2 minutes, to really close your eyes, focus on those deep breaths, and think about something that you learned today. And if you are thinking about your whole day as you're falling asleep, maybe just taking that moment to think about what were some of the positive things that happened in my day? How can I make tomorrow be another really great day? Nice job, friends. You did such a fabulous job with that all week. You guys are amazing. Let's go ahead and jump right into our learning goals. So this week, our learning goals are objectives where I can add or subtract 2-digit problems with regrouping using different strategies to solve. So last week we had the same chart and the same 4 strategies that we used, but it was all without regrouping. So this week we have done all of these different strategies with regrouping. So the first one we did was base 10. We drew out the first addend, and then we repeated it with the second addend for 68 plus 37. So we had 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 for that, the 10s and the 68, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we drew out that 37, that second addend. 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then step 3 was we counted the ones first. And then it said more than 10, regroup. So we're gonna count those ones, and then you'll do this with me. We'll say stop when we get to 10. And then we'll take those 10 ones and they will transform into another 10s rod. And it'll go and hang out with the other 10s friends. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. We now have 10 ones. So then they stack up and transform into a tens rod. And so we drew that here in the green. And then the rest of the ones that didn't get included in that tens rod is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we counted all of our tens. And we had 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, giving us a sum of 105. All right, then we did expanded form, which is, I like to think of this expanded form as the number version of drawing it out with the base 10 blocks. So we see our 6 tens is 60, 8 ones, 60 plus 8, and then we did the same thing for 30 plus the 7 ones for 37. And we lined them up. And then step 2 was to solve vertically. So we did our ones first. 7 ones and 8 ones all together was 15 ones. Then we added our 10, 60, and 30 was 90. 90 plus 15 gave us a sum of 105. And then yesterday we used a number line to solve. So step 1 of using a number line to solve was to draw an open number line and write the larger addend at the start. So out of 68 and 37, 68 is definitely our bigger number, right? So 68 was starting at our number line here. We saw yesterday that we are able to do it the other way as well, but we want to start with the bigger number because it makes it easier to make less jumps, and then we make sure that we don't make any mistakes. So we started at 68, and then we're going to jump up. Step 2 is to break 37 into tens and ones. So we know 30 for our tens and 7 for our ones. And then we're going to make our hops of 10 first and then make those hops of 1. So 68, we went up 10, 78, 88, 98. That was our 30. And then we did those 7 ones to go from 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. And that's step 3. Where you land is your sum. So we used a number line to solve. Now today we are working on the standard model. So this is the one that you're maybe most familiar with or that you see most often. And hopefully this also makes sense to your brains, but then really after we work on all of these 4 strategies, you can decide what makes the most sense to your math brain. So we're going to line up both addends vertically, 68 and 37. But I can see that my tens are in line and my ones are in line. This is so important, friends, because as you get into harder and more challenging math, you're going to have bigger numbers, right? And if you do not line up your tens and your ones and your hundreds all in the right spot, so where they're lining up with each other, then you can very easily make a mistake and get a very different answer. So we line them up vertically. Number 2 is add the ones first. So 8 and 7 gave us 15. You can see the 15 right there. Then it says 10 or more, carry next door. So here's 15. We know 8 and 7 is 15. So we put our 5 ones here and we carried our 10 and put it over with the other tens, friends. And then step 3, we add the tens to find the sum, including the one that we carried next door. So 6 plus 3 is 9, plus that other little one is 10. So we write the 10 down here. So 68 plus 37 is 105. All right, so now we get to practice this strategy on our own. So we're gonna get rid of this guy here. I'm gonna practice using the standard model to solve. I like the standard model. I think it makes a lot of sense. And growing up, that was the strategy that I learned how to do it with. So it's a quick way to solve and it makes sense to my brain. So hopefully it'll make sense to yours too. All right, so all week long, we've been doing Thanksgiving food polls. First, it was turkey and stuffing. Then it was cranberries and mashed potatoes and gravy. Then we did sweet potatoes and green bean casserole. Today, we've moved on to dessert. So we wanted to know how many friends liked apple pie the best and how many friends like pumpkin pie the best. This is such a hard choice for me. I don't know if I could ever choose between the two of them. I maybe would pick pumpkin pie, but I don't know. I just love them both so much. It's really hard for me to choose on this one. So we had a total of 72 friends liked pumpkin pie. If you don't have something to write with, please grab something so that we can do it here together as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and write 72 friends liked pumpkin pie. 7 and 2. And you guys know that I love to draw it out with base 10 blocks as well because it makes sense to my brain. So 72 has how many 10s? Yes, 7 10s. Let's do it together, friends. Are you ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 for our 10s. And then how many ones do I have? Yes, 2 ones. 1, 2. All right, we got our 72. Now we had, so 72 friends like pumpkin pie the best. Then we had 89 friends that liked apple pie the best. So apple pie was the winner. Okay, so go ahead and write out the number 89. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and draw it out in our base 10 blocks. How many 10s do I have in 89? Let me hear it. Yes, 8 10s in 89. Let's go ahead and count them as we draw them out. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Nice job. All right, friends, now we have to do our ones. How many ones? Yes, 9 ones. All right, let's get to drawing those ones. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We almost have enough to make a 10, but not quite. All right, so now we have 89 and 72. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a little dotted line so that we can see right off the bat the difference between our 10s and our 1s. There we go. I've drawn my dotted lines. These are my 10s and these are my 1s. Okay, I have it really nice and easy for us to be able to see. So that was our second step is that, so we lined up our add-ons vertically, and then now we're going to add our 1s first. So what is 9 1s plus 2 1s? If you said 11, you are absolutely correct, but let's go ahead and count them out together so we can see. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I can't write 11 down here because that will give me a very different answer. So again, we've got 11, which is more than 10, so we have to carry next door. So our 1s will go down here, and our 110 will go over here, just like it did in our model. Okay, so let's also show it in our base 10 blocks. We have almost 10 right here. So now this one here is gonna come down here to make a full 10. Now I have a 10s rod, and this guy is now down here. So you can see my little faint dotted line that I took this one and I brought it down here to make a full 10, which gave me how many little ones left over? Yes, just 1. And then I have another 10 because I turned these 1s here into a nice solid 10s rod. So I have 1, or let's go ahead and count by 10s, right? Because these are 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Exactly right. 160 is our value of our tens. Or we had a total of 7 and 1 is 8. And I know from my doubles facts, 8 and 8 is 16. So my sum is 161. Nice job, friends. All right, let's solve our other addition problem in our fact family. So that means we have to switch our add-ins. Get ready to draw it with me, my dears. Find a blank spot in your paper, or if you're using dry erase like me, you can erase just like that. Okay, so we started before with our pumpkin pie with 72, and then we added our 89 apple pie friends to get a total of 161. We really asked a lot of people on this one. So now we're gonna start with our champion, our apple pie, which again is 89. So go ahead and write out 89. All right, now we're gonna draw it out using our base 10 blocks. So 89 has how many tens? 8. Nice job. Count them with me, friends. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And how many ones? Yes, 9 ones, friends. Go ahead and draw them out with me, friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost that full 10, but not quite. All right, then we are going to add on our pumpkin pie friends, which again were 72. 72. Okay, let's go ahead and draw it out. 72 has 7 tens and 2 ones. So 7 tens is worth 70. Let's go ahead and draw and count together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And then 2 ones. 1, 2. Nice job. Now we're ready to put them together to get our sum, our total number of people who took this poll. So I'm going to make my dotted line to separate my tens and ones. Here's my tens, here's my ones. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I can see it really easy now. All right, then we start by adding our ones. 9 and 2 is how much? Yes, we can use that add-on, the count-on strategy. 9 and 2, 9, 10, 11. So again, 11 here. And that it's more than 10, so we have to carry next door. So our 1 ones is going to come down here, and our 110 is going to go over here. Okay, so just like it was in our chart. So let's also go ahead and count our ones together. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. We now have enough to make another tens rod. So this one here is going to come up here. And now I officially have another tens rod. So this guy is no longer here. All right, so then how many did I have left over? Yes, just that one. So I have 1 here. And now let's count our tens. Are you ready, friends? There's lots to count here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. With our new 10. 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. So 8 and 7 plus our other 10 is 16. So 161 is how many we have altogether. Again, we've got our extra 10 here. I add that to my 7 to get 8 and 8. And I know my doubles facts really well, right, friends? So we know that 8 and 8 is 16. Nice job. Okay, it's time for us to do our subtraction equations. All right, get ready to write our new problems here, friends. Okay, we're going to start with our total number, which again is 161. And if we draw it out, that's 100. So I draw 1 square, 6 tens rods, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then 1 in 161. So here's my 100, here's my 6, and here's my 1. All right, now I'm going to take away 72. Okay, we're going to take away 72. Again, that was our pumpkin pie friends. So I lined these up. See how it's getting, well, now that our numbers are getting bigger, I need to make sure that I've got my 1s lined up and my 10s. So I'm even going to go ahead and draw those dotted lines now. So that way we know that we are going to be taking away from the correct spaces. So here's a hundreds, or our 100 space. Here's our 10 space. And here are our 1s. All right, so with our subtraction column, we know more on the top, no need to stop. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. So we can see here, I've got 2 1s that I need to take away from only 1. I can't take away 2 from only 1. So I have to go next door and borrow 10 more. So instead, this 6 now becomes a 5. And I turn one of these guys into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I took one of my 10s away from the 10s and I chopped it up into those individual ones. So now I have 11 1s, take away 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm taking away 1, 2. How many do I have left? Yes, nice job. We have 9 left. Let's count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice job. So I've got a 9 in my 1s place. Now I need to take away 7 10s from 5. Can I take away 7 10s from only 5? No, so I have to go next door again. So my 100, I'm going to take that away. So erase my 100 here. And how many 10s are in 100? Yes, 10 10s. Let's draw out our 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So I took my 100s block, chopped it up into our 10 10s. Now I have 15 10s. Can I take away 15 10 or 7 from 15 10s? Yes, I sure can. Let's take away 7. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now I have how many left? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I had 80 left, or 8 10s left. Okay, And then now I don't have any hundreds to take away from because I turned them back into tens. So 161 or 161 minus 72 gave me 89 apple friends. Okay, last one, friends. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to take away our apple friends in order to get our pumpkin pie friends. So we're starting with 161. Go ahead and write it out. 161. Take away our 89 apple friends, and our difference will give us our pumpkin pie friends. All right, so 161 is 1 100, 6 tens, and 1 1. Okay, so let's draw our tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and our 1. All right, friends, now I need to take away 89. And we know more on top, no need to stop. More on the floor, we have to go next door. So I'm going to go ahead and draw it out here, friends, so we can see really easy. Hundreds, tens, and ones. Now, can I take 9 ones away from only 1? No way, you're absolutely right. So I have to go next door and borrow. So I'm going to borrow from this 6, and now I only have 5. And I'm going to take those 10 ones and bring them over here. So now I have 11 minus 9. So this here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I can take away 9. And if I take away 9 from 11, I'm going to have 2 left. Nice job. Now, can I take 8 tens from only 5 tens? No, I can't. So I have to borrow again. I'm going to go over to my hundreds and I'm going to take my 100 away. So instead of this hundreds block, now I have 10 tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, now can I take 8 tens from 15? Yes, of course I can. So let's take away 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and how many do I have left? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 70 or 7 tens gives me that difference of 72. You are amazing, friends. You're doing such a fabulous job, and I'm so very proud of you. Thank you so much, friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.